Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome back to the breakfast show. It's the big day today, the Nvidia earnings day. Jose, how are you?
Pretty good, pretty excited. I don't know why. I feel like it's gonna be a crazy one. I feel like it's gonna be a crazy one. We're gonna hear some stuff that I don't know we haven't heard before. So I'm pretty excited about it. But how's it going with you, Neil?
Doing well, doing well. Today is the day I will have to increase my stake by 50% almost. So I'll add an extra share of Nvidia today. I do have now a position in CoreWeave in the YOLO
Oh
portfolio
my goodness.
because of you and Roberto. So I truly hope Jensen does mention CoreWeave a couple of times today.
Let me just say, for me though, it's not a YOLO play. This one is an actual position that I am building up. Yesterday I made it pretty big. I don't know. I see this. I got to follow my gut on this one, Neil. Usually, I've been looking at some, and I go with decent plays with decent positions, and they do well. But I feel like this time I really need to follow my gut. Um, I'm liking CoreWeave here, less than $50 billion market cap. I think in the long term, it could definitely be a $200 billion plus. Somebody asking where our Nvidia shirts are at. I wish I had one. I always kind of think ahead of time before these earnings to purchase something GPU like, something Nvidia like. But
A
I
chip.
don't have anything. A leather jacket or something. I don't have anything though.
Did you have like a Nvidia gold chain or something?
No, not yet, not yet.
Roberto
Oh,
is saying
Roberto
yes.
said, "Okay, it's a YOLO. It's a long-term YOLO then."
Yeah. No, I mean, I uh, I say it's in the YOLO bet portfolio because it's
Mhm.
in the portfolio with the applied digital part with the
Residual.
IREN. Um,
Yeah.
it's a portfolio that's detached with the other names because I don't want it to be attached with like more stable big companies.
Mm,
It's like a portfolio where if I want, I'll get in and out
yeah.
and be done with it. But no, I agree with you. I mean, I've been laughing
Yeah.
about the whole core situation for a while, but I mean, it's a company that is growing very fast. It's a company at the center of this AI era, I would say. Yes, of course,
Mm.
there are some question marks. I'm still very bullish on Nebius, but
Yeah.
sometimes, like I said yesterday, sometimes you cannot. Like, what's the point of going against the stream if they have
Yeah.
already? all of the momentum. And
Yeah, and I think the stream is just getting bigger and bigger. Right? That's the great thing. I mean, I talk about it in CoreWeave, right? But I would say for Nebius too, and for all these players, I think on the top two, it's definitely a CoreWeave and Nebius play. For me, Nebius, CoreWeave is the one I enjoy the most, purely because I talked about it. It's the easiest way for me to say it is Nvidia and them. They're kind of like Nvidia's favorite child right now.
mhm,
And one thing that I remember, I know we both did videos on Oracle, Neil, about maybe 2 years. It's almost 2 years ago now, or maybe around that time. And one of
yeah,
my things for Oracle that I was pretty excited is Oracle was taking everything Nvidia was putting out. Oh, you're releasing this new chip? I'm doing it first. You're releasing this new thing? I'm going to be one of the few players that does it. Oracle had this ultimate partnership with Nvidia, and look at these great returns Oracle has done. I'm seeing very similar kind of partnership with CoreWeave, and I think with CoreWeave it's going to be a little bit more like with Oracle. Oracle was already a big company, so it's like you had this partnership with Nvidia, but I don't know. I feel like with CoreWeave, I feel like Nvidia is also able to mold CoreWeave however it wants, and CoreWeave would say, "Yes, I actually will go with this direction." One of the things is we talked about it maybe yesterday's stream. There was a new networking solution that Nvidia announced, and the
yep,
first hyperscaler to do it is going to be CoreWeave.
mhm.
And that's what used to see with Oracle. Oracle used to be the first one on the list. Now it seems like CoreWeave is the first on the list, and that alone um, is something that gets me pretty excited. And someone was talking about what's my allocation right now of CoreWeave. Right now I think it went from like 1% because I had a few shares, Neil, that I
Mhm.
sold off. I left there at like 1%. Now I think it jumped to like 7%, and I think I want to make it to over 10% um within the upcoming month. So something around 10 to 15% is where I'm looking to put CoreWeave in. Which not many stocks ever make it over the 10% in my portfolio. I think Google was a recent one that I said, screw it. Let me go heavy with that one. Google made it. Nvidia, obviously, but CoreWeave is going to enter that list for me now.
Yeah, I got 125 shares right now of CoreWeave. So jumping in yesterday, hopefully I did buy the bottom, but we'll see. I saw this post yesterday
Mhm,
from Rihard here, very good follow on
mhm,
X. So the reason why clients will jump to Nvidia's latest CoreWeave results in deploying Blackwell GB300 NVLink 72 versus H100 in inference on the reasoning model. I mean, it's quite astonishing. And I agree. I think also the fact that Nvidia is invested and has a stake in CoreWeave
mhm,
definitely helps the case here as to why CoreWeave will probably always be in the mean, probably in the it's definitely the short term,
mhm,
that
mhm.
favorite child, um,
Yeah,
and the one that does get Nvidia
yeah.
equipment first.
No. And there was another one that they released yesterday, Neo. Maybe I might tweet it out later today. Um, but I don't know if you remember earlier this year, Meta kind of showed a research paper that to train large AI models, GPUs had a horrible time of like on or like working as intended, right? There were errors, and those errors created like extra weeks of backlog, of extra compute needed because of all the errors and everything they needed to fix. Well, CoreWeave yesterday showed that after they saw that presentation or that report, they wanted to test it out with their system and they wanted to find ways to improve it. And they showcased that on their end with the same kind of with a similar style cluster, they were able to do things a lot better and a lot more efficient. I think they mentioned that it was about 20% better than what kind of like Meta has seen. And that would cut down if you're training something for a few months, you're cutting down a few weeks on training time just because you're able to have the best availability. And I think customers are going to see that and say, look, I'd rather go with you right now. And I'm pretty sure Nebius and other players are doing something similar, but I haven't seen a report from them. But it'll be like big clients would go, look, I'm training big AI models. If I can save 2 weeks in this training, 3 weeks on this training, I am definitely going to go with you.
Mhm.
So yeah. And I think the other reason, Neil, maybe Nvidia likes CoreWeave a little bit more is normally it would be a bad thing, but I think CoreWeave is a little bit more aggressive and reckless. We kind of seen their balance sheet, right? And there are companies that want to maintain kind of like a healthy balance sheet. So it doesn't halt them, but it just makes them a little bit more hesitant to do certain things. I think CoreWeave is one of those players right now that can go. Nvidia could just go, "Hey, look, try this out," and in not necessarily, but CoreWeave would be the first to respond because they're a little bit more aggressive, and I think they like that a little bit more. Um, but yeah, I'm still a shareholder of Nebius. I haven't sold, but recently I did a video, of like some Bitcoin miners that I was going to
Mhm.
research. I was like, screw it, not right now. Any money I was thinking of putting into those, I'm gonna go into CoreWeave instead.
Yeah, well, I mean, why not, right? Because if we could be seeing a huge jump in price of the stock for CoreWeave based on, of course, comments that Jensen will be making
Mhm.
later today.
I think today they got a price target too. Upgrade.
CoreWeave.
Um, yeah, CoreWeave.
Hmm. Um,
Cantor. I don't know. I can't.
uh,
Fitz
Cantor
whatever.
Fitzgerald. Yeah,
Yeah.
Fitzgerald. Yeah. Okay. Um, isn't that where Lutnick is from? Howard Lutnick from? I think so.
Eh, So
I think so.
a price a buy rating today initiated coverage of CoreWeave with a buy rating at 116. I don't know why, but I wonder if that's why the stock is up about 2%. I could care less
Yeah.
what they say, but it's just one of the reasons the um, momentum could be moving on that favor.
Yeah. I mean, again, that's we saw that yesterday as well with AMD. Um, we see that today a little bit with CoreWeave. Plus, what is Nvidia doing right now? Let's see. Is it? It's up a tiny bit pre-market, but yeah,
It's
we're
crazy. A
going
tiny
to.
bit is almost maybe like a billion or so in market cap at least.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, even probably even more. Probably even more. Um,
That is wild.
yeah, but CoreWeave. I mean, okay, CoreWeave had that huge run up.
Mhm.
Probably very much overstretched here, 180,
Yeah.
$190 or so, with a 50% pullback, with lockup expiring already. Um, it does seem like it is trying to find like a nice little
Base.
base right here at
Yeah.
$90, and then we'll see. I mean, usually with IPOs, and then especially after a lockup period expires, stocks tend to move, especially good companies tend to move on the way up after the selling is done, or after, well, the stock just
Mm,
says, you know what, the market, we found our base, we found our support. And of course, with CoreWeave, we still have that momentum in the
mhm.
market, in the company as well, whether it's from Nvidia, whether it's from OpenAI. There is, of course, still that catalyst, whether you see it as a positive or negative, from the Core's acquisition
Yeah.
that's expected to close
Mhm.
later this year. Remains to be seen, right? Because it might also
Mhm.
not close. Might also not close. Um, but yeah, I have now a small position in CoreWeave. I still have a much bigger position in Nebius. I still
Nebius.
like Nebius more for the
Yeah.
long run, just because of the two-part story for Nebius, plus all
Yeah.
the other stakes that you get with Nebius.
Yeah, you know what, Neil? Lately, I've been thinking if I was to build maybe just like a 7, 8 portfolio position, what are some names that would be in there? And CoreWeave and Nebius would definitely go into those two right now.
Hmm.
Um, Unfortunately, I don't have the allocation to build 2 big positions right now.
Yeah.
Um, Oh, and Fallen. So I don't think so. I think it's where you're looking for, right? I think both will be multi-bagger opportunities. And I feel like I've talked about this in the past. I really just like CoreWeave because of the aggressiveness. And that aggressiveness could backfire on me. Nebius has definitely aggressiveness. But I don't think it's at the same level of CoreWeave, but it also has a lot of that sanity checks with what Neil just mentioned with like the AV ride, all those other investments in kind of the AI equity positions that it has. It also has kind of the um, a lot of the AI solutions on top of just bare metal. Um, and the customer base is a little bit different. I think we've talked about that, right? Right, Neil. For CoreWeave right now, it seems like the customers are really just much your big AI model players. Like for Nebius, it's a little bit of everything. Your enterprise. It could also be some large AI companies, but it's a little bit more diversified. Um, and yeah,
I
Neil, I
would
think yeah.
I'll first touch on this because I don't like it when people say, "Oh, you got in at a low price, you got lucky." We didn't get lucky. We studied the
Mhm,
business early before it got
mhm.
mainstream, and we got
Yeah.
in. It's not luck. It's called investing. Um, it's
And and I feel like luck only happens when you research, right? Luck, I feel like I hear this. Like luck comes to those that were prepared. So it's like if you like you Neil, you were prepared with doing the research on Nebius um before it kind of saw that pull up. So it wasn't luck. It was just you were prepared, and I think it seems like luck.
Yeah, and again, just because the stock has gone up does not mean that it's suddenly not
Mhm. Yeah.
a good thing anymore. Like I added after the earnings report. My average was
Mhm.
25, 26 or so. Now my average is closer to 30 because I started to add even higher in the 60s. If we go back to the 50s, I would love to see that, but it seems like this stock does not want to go back um, even even lower than that. And
Mhm.
as for
Oh,
this
sorry.
question right
Yeah, go
here
ahead.
about the revenue falling, it's a different company. Like they had to restructure the whole business. So start looking from, let's say, from earlier this year, because before it was a
Mhm.
Nebius, it was a Yandex. It's a complete different company.
Yeah. Yeah. And Miss Camo, it does look like a debt bomb. I do believe the thing here is I talked about it is for me, Corey's balance sheet, Neil, is it's a rocket ship, and to me, the rocket ship can go two ways if it's done properly and to kind of near perfection. A rocket ship will take us to new places. In a rocket ship, obviously rocket science, I'm not a rocket engineer, but I would guess if any small mistakes, I mean, we've heard some of these engineering failures where just the wrong type of nut was used on the rocket ship, and that creates kind of like, unfortunately, the destruction of that rocket. So that's how I see it. I think right now, though, with the way the market is going, it's helping me accelerate to new places. But that's where I think you have to keep an eye on this market. If you ever see a bit of a slowdown in clouding needs, if you ever see a slowdown in maybe AI innovation, that's when it's like, okay, this is a rocket I don't want to be riding because something it seems off right now, and it's time to jump out if I can.
Yeah, and I mean that's something that I think I can say for sure that 2 years ago or something like that, I would say, maybe not.
Mhm,
I disagree. But as you learn more about, especially this industry, as you learn more about how the market works, you feel a bit more comfortable. You feel a bit more comfortable um, going into this place, despite right the death bomb
mhm,
for CoreWeave. Because when you've got so much backing behind you, especially now, why wouldn't you do everything to accelerate growth?
mhm.
Right? Eventually,
Yeah.
yes. Eventually, that will moderate.
Mhm.
But until then, yes, you can become a gigantic company, and then of course it's up to them to figure out the debt issue and the profitability part of uh, of all of it, for sure.
Yeah. I actually like this what Achilles mentioned. It's like whenever a company tries to compete with the big seven, everybody's saying that their moat, what their moat, they're gonna get in. But when someone gets into debt to do this, they're in danger. Um,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
again, it's true. I mean, it's very hard to compete against the seven or even a big company. It's weird to say this, Neil. It's really weird for me to say this, and I can imagine why it's crazy, but a big reason for me to be bullish sometimes in certain companies is just because of the backing of Nvidia or kind of the strength of partnership. When you are um when you are working with the top dog, if that top dog equipment keeps getting better and better, it means your equipment's going to get better and better and better. So that alone sometimes creates a little bit of extra bonus points or brownie points. And for CoreWeave, it creates a lot of extra brownie points. If there wasn't an Nvidia, not even backing in forms of ownership, but just like in partnership with the products, if there wasn't something like that, I wouldn't really keep a closer eye on CoreWeave.
Yeah, then it would just have been just another one of
Hmm.
those players, nothing special.
Yeah.
But yet in this case, you would rather take the number one um, in the space. I do want to, and again, I am still extremely bullish on Nebius. It's still much bigger than my small core weave position. But yeah, Jose did convince me and Roberto as well yesterday to maybe put a little bit of money in the YOLO portfolio with the other players. I do want to address one extra thing, non AI related, but PayPal related. So this came out this morning. PayPal is down 2% or so right now. So German banks blocking PayPal payments. So security systems designed to filter out fraudulent payments have apparently failed at the payment service provider PayPal. So German banks have blocked direct debits worth tens of billions, leaving merchants waiting for their money. Of course, headlines not great. This should not have happened. But a PayPal spokesperson confirmed that the SZ that were problems confirms to SZ that there were problems. PayPal experienced a temporary service interruption that impacted certain transactions of their banking partners and potentially their customers. They quickly identified the cause and are working closely with their banking partners to ensure all accounts are updated. So they already, of course, they know about the issue. They're working on a solution and probably, they say it right here. We experienced a temporary service disruption over the weekend, resulting in transactions being delayed for a small number of accounts. The issue has since been resolved. Of course, again, this should not have happened, but the issue has been resolved here. So, quick update on that.
Yeah, definitely. Um, and I want to showcase some comments here from Eros. I'm sorry, I'm butchering the name. I'm horrible with that. But he actually has a great um, Twitter. I don't know his Twitter handle. If you want to share it here, I'll post it. But he still is. I think he still is. But he used to share a lot of great information about Nebius. And recently, from what I can tell, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think he's bearish on Nebius. I'm pretty sure he's still bullish, but he has kind of become a little bit more bullish on CoreWeave here. And agree with here. At first glance, the debt looks scary. 98% of CoreWeave's revenue comes from long-term committed contracts, and they talked about this in their presentation that they build until they get that first sign up, that first approval. And usually these their business models is they talk to large AI models. These large AI model companies reserve allocation for 4 to 5 years. Once they have that contract, they go and purchase those GPUs. It's not like they're purchasing GPUs first and then trying to find contracts. They're doing the opposite. So I think that revenue will start coming in a nice amount, especially. I don't know if quarter four is going to be a heavy capital expenditure for them. I don't know if that's when we're going to see some nice revenue boost or the quarter after. But I think around quarter four and quarter one, so within the next 2 or 3 quarters, we're going to see revenue continue to accelerate even at crazier levels than we've seen right now. Oh, we did
Yeah.
forget to say good morning too. I don't know. Did we? I think we did.
No, I think
Um,
Adam asked a question and then he's like, "Oh, good morning," as well.
oh,
So he asked if we go live every day. We do usually go live Monday to through Thursday.
Thursday. Yeah. Monday to Thursday. And if
Uh,
something crazy happens,
yeah, I mean we'll go live later today probably
therapy
as well.
sessions are a thing at this channel. So if the market goes down, we tend to have free therapy sessions.
Correct, correct. Like last week, it didn't last long, but we had those as well. Um, Maybe prediction
Hold on.
time.
Prediction. I think he's gonna the chances. I mean, there's always a chance, but I think we won on this bet. Not on the F1, but it was the Ariel, the one
Yeah, yeah, on the AMD
that
one.
had
I mean, we still have we still have a couple of months left,
If,
but yeah,
yeah, famous last words by me.
yeah, Ariel is about to get ready to become a member of both of our channels. But prediction time, prediction time for Nvidia. Do you expect beats across the board,
Yes, definitely. Both, all three: guidance, earnings per share, and revenue. I expect beats here.
including China or excluding?
So whichever. Yeah. So that's the thing. So right now, that's the crazy. I think this is the first time, Neil, where I'm not providing kind of like a number that I believe is happening, just because there's so much. There was so much movement happening this quarter. I think I would go crazy trying to think what the numbers will be of the actual, like, maybe try to get it within $1 billion or so. I do think there are going to be earnings for revenue. We know it's not going to include China at all for this revenue. So revenue is going to be, earnings per share is going to be, guidance is going to be on both ends. So I don't know how they're going to give guidance. Are they going to give guidance with the China numbers or without the China numbers? But analysts have already created kind of two guidance. Analysts have a guidance number for with the China market or without the China market. Regardless, I think Nvidia beats on guidance. I think capital expenditure is growing at crazy levels. Nvidia has no reason to slow down right now. We also have kind of like the enterprise market picking back up. We saw some news yesterday that RTX Pro servers are sending out as well. And while that might be a small portion of the data center revenue, it can still help accelerate the growth. So be all around, no matter which way you look at it, up, down, left, right. It's just gonna be a nice win. Now, how the market reacts, that's a whole different story.
Yeah, I mean, like the question here from Rowan, do you think the market is pricing in beats across the board, or does it want more?
The market always wants more, Neil.
Hmm.
I think if we get very strong confirmation about the China market, that would be a great plus. I think even still now, we're still getting uncertainties, right? We don't know, is the H20 really being stopped? Is the H20 production stopping? What is the reason? Is it China reason? Is it just you're getting ready for the B30? What are the stories of the B30? So just on China, you still have so many questions now. So if we get like an actual confirmation of something there, I think that would help increase the price. Um, Other uncertainties, like always, we've kind of seen those Ruben delays, right, Neil? So uncertainties on that. What is more? Insert, I forget his name, Kylo Ren
Correct.
meme here. Um, I think there's still uncertainties, and I'm gonna say, unfortunately, Jensen is someone who just kind of answers a question with another question or not fully answers it sometimes. So I think we're still, unfortunately, I think we're still going to end up with a lot of uncertainties uh, at the end of the earnings. But for me, as a long-term investor, Neo, I'm just going to check my list. Data center growing, demand still growing, innovation still happening. Any things and any rumors that could be denied. And as long as my checklist gets good, I could care less how the stock acts tomorrow. It's going to tell me, as a long-term investor, Nvidia still has a massive opportunity to to beat the market. And that's what I really care about, right? That's where I'm at with this position is don't a massive sell-off, I don't think will happen. Um,
Yeah. I mean,
for me to even think about buying. Yeah.
I mean, I guess we will have probably. I'd say I predict 50% of the questions are going to be about China.
hmm
Probably, I'd say B20, B30. What's the story there? The rest, who? The rest. What do you think? Energy, right? Is that the bottleneck? Maybe
hmm
some Stargate information right now.
hmm
What's going on with this project? Because yeah, I mean, like we've had all of the big tech companies report already, and all of their capex projections are still increasing.
hmm
We've had debuts, we've had CoreWeave, everybody's again up and to the right. So I don't see how they miss unless it's like because of a one-time thing or whatnot.
Yeah.
Commentary wise, I guess comments are going to be important because I mean
Yeah.
Jensen said China is a huge business,
Mhm.
huge market for them. I did find you probably seen this also. I did find this morning that popped up. China Nvidia rival Cambricon adds to $40 billion rally with 4,000% revenue jump. So the numbers underscore how local challengers to Nvidia are gaining traction as Beijing looks to push its domestic industry.
Mhm.
We've read yesterday what China's goals were, right, going forward with AI by 2030, 2035, and all of that. Do you think we're going to see more of these Chinese companies growing extremely quickly as China tries to diversify more and more?
I think so, but it's always gonna be, like, from a smaller base, right?
Yeah, I mean,
It's they
402.
yeah, $402 million dollars in the first half of the year. Um, where, I we
And
where Nvidia
Nvidia
did 44 inches one quarter,
100
right?
times
So the
more.
um, I think it just showcases that there's plenty of money to go around, uh, in forms of at least stock investments. People are rallying and pushing stock prices up. I do think it's gonna happen, right? You're gonna start to see there's gonna always be companies that are very focused on having a strong domestic player. So they're gonna be buying. And for it, let's say Alibaba, for them to throw maybe like even a few $10 million into something like this, it wouldn't be bad for Alibaba. It would be good actually. Would seem it would, I guess, showcase to their Chinese overlords that look, we're actually helping things out. Um, and at the same time, it helps out that small company, Cambricon, to get more benefits. So I think you're going to start to see something like that, where at least right now, such small players, big players will be able to throw a little bit of money to get the good side of both their government and to kind of at least help build up competition, but nothing to worry, in my opinion, as of Nvidia just yet.
I mean, I think the only big player I think is Huawei, the one that could really
Mm. Yeah.
push to compete here. So China seeks to triple output of AI chips next year, but again, probably a small base compared to what we've seen with Nvidia so far. And I mean, not just Nvidia, but all the rest there as well. Um, any other any other predictions or expectations?
Um,
I'd say
let
from
me see.
tonight.
I would love to hear. I know it's usually, they like to break down their data center revenue of like who's using it. They kind of give you like automotive this year or this quarter was
Mhm.
X percentage. I would love to hear something like that just to see who's adopting it. I know we have robotics companies right now that are seeing massive rally. I don't know if you saw that ticker RR, Neil. Um,
RR is usually Rolls Royce unless it's something
Oh,
else.
is it? Am I getting the ticker wrong? Um, it's Rich Tech Robotics,
It's a
RR stock.
pretty good name. Rich Tech
Uh,
Robotics.
I hope
Rich Tech
uh,
Robotics.
um, it's a small company, and I don't know if you remember. I do think it's RR. I just checked, but I don't know if you remember. 2 days ago, we saw NVIDIA release a new type of computer for the robotic space, and we kind of talked
Mhm.
about it, that this is something NVIDIA has done for the past. It's not a new; it's just an upgraded version. Really, it is. But if I, it's on Nasdaq RR. I just googled it. It's Rich Tech Robotics. Um, where's Rolls Royce in?
UK.
So it's Nasdaq RR. But that stock, Neil, in the past 5 days is up 55% after they tweeted that they were one of the first players. Um, yeah, so they didn't post it here. Let me actually send it to you.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know if you just want to Google their tweet their name and Rich Tech Robotics. Let me see. Neil, where the heck are you?
Rich Text,
Where the heck?
Robotics, Nvidia. Let's do that. Yeah, so they collaborate with Nvidia to integrate Nvidia's AI and robotic technology, including the Jetson Orin Nano platform. Okay. Is it a post from? Here. I think it's this one.
So they were like, thank you to NVIDIA. We are one of the first to kind of secure inventory of this. Yeah. And ever since that happened, it's a company with like $400 billion market cap. Obviously, 400 million. I don't know
Million.
if that's what I said. So obviously after that, the stock is up like a 50% the past 2 days. So the NVIDIA power is still there.
Navitas type
Um,
of move.
yeah, the Vitas type of mood. But they actually have some robots. Let me show you. I'll post a link to their website. I don't know. Maybe I
This
haven't
thing?
looked at their revenue. Yeah, they have a few. So they have Titan. They have some that like make coffees. Um, they have some other. See, they have
Oh
like
yeah.
this guy here. Nvidia actually has one of them in their headquarters that makes them drinks. I guess engineers at Nvidia get drunk, and that's the success story. Um, there's some I know there's some Egyptian documentaries saying that beer is the reason the pyramids were made, or something like that. The power of beer. So I wonder if that's what's happening here. But
Pretty cool.
yeah, they have a lot of different robots. They have some at Walmart already. They have some at, like I mentioned, Nvidia. Mercedes has it for their tires. So they have a few robots, and I think it's such a small number. I think it's only like 700 robots
Hmm.
that they have. This is another one, Atom V3, and I'm pretty sure they're using kind of NVIDIA simulation
Yeah, it
um,
looks like it.
to
Omniverse.
train. Yeah. Um,
Huh.
so it was interesting, but it's crazy to see just how, again, still, if you're a small player and you just say NVIDIA this, NVIDIA that, and it
Yep.
wasn't like a partnership. It's just like, I'm buying your products. So because I'm buying your products, I deserve to go up 50%.
It's like we're thrilled to be one of the first robotics company adopting Jet Centaur. I'm like, okay, cool. I mean, isn't that what you're supposed to do? Like,
Yeah.
what's why do you deserve to be now 60% more expensive as a company? But I guess we're in this type of a market at the moment. At the moment. Now, this reminds me of the other company we touched on a couple of times, Symbotic, also robotics company. I wonder how they've been doing
Yeah. Neil, I need to
this
step
year.
out really quickly.
No
But I'll have
problem.
my headphones on, so I'll be able to know what's happening.
No problem. In the meantime, yeah, it has been doing actually quite well. $5 billion company generating $2.2 billion in revenue last 12 months. Quite interesting. Quite interesting. Watch out, Starbucks baristas. I mean, isn't that the bull case for companies like Starbucks, um, Chipotle, all of the others, right? You just buy robots once, or maybe not just once, but you buy robots and they can work 24/7 and they don't. I mean, I do wonder. I do wonder if you'll have to pay tips for robot baristas. That's a that's the $1 million question here. The $1 million question. A question about iron. Um, I think iron again falls into that bucket of the stock will move based on what Nvidia will also tell us later today. Of course, with iron reporting a day later, the big move for iron will happen when they will report. I mean, you can go back and look at their monthly reports and see how much revenue they've generated from the Bitcoin mining business, or the 2.1, was it 2.1, 2.2 million from the new cloud business. We've heard about the recent announcements that they purchased even more Blackwell GPUs. I guess maybe the market might want to hear maybe about potential big contracts, right? If there are any talks with some hyperscalers and things like that, maybe that might move the stock. But then again, I mean, stock has moved quite quite aggressively more recently, and that's all without any huge future contracts. So I don't think we can be that greedy with a company like IREN. A quick comment, because Octa did report earnings yesterday, beats across the board. I've already seen some price target updates, upgrades as well, actually. For Octa, we did touch on Octa, I think, a couple of weeks ago. It's again one of those less sexier names in the cybersecurity space, but it's always good to look at forgotten names, especially if those forgotten names are doing well. Octa is up close to 5% before the market opens. Revenue did increase 13% year over year, but as you can see right here, RPO did increase again faster than that, up 18% year over year. So definitely there is some momentum here with Octa. Bodes well also for CrowdStrike later tonight. CrowdStrike, Snowflake later tonight. MongoDB did report yesterday, also beats across the board, and I do believe that the stock is up 30%. I would be surprised if where is the here it is. I'd be surprised if Snowflake doesn't perform well later today. So remaining performance obligations has been growing faster than revenue for the last couple of quarters. Growth is decelerating a little bit right now, but then again, the 24% growth we've seen is, of course, on a very, very, let's say, easy year-over-year comparison, and then the year-over-year comparison do become a little bit tougher. It's not a hyper-growth company, but it's one that's growing steadily, and one that has been a bit forgotten, I would say, a bit forgotten. As for Mongo, where is it? MongoDB, I think they're up significantly. Yeah, they're up 30%. Wow, up 30% pre-market here as well. Revenue up 24% year over year. Subscriptions up 23. Free cash flow of close to $70 million. Still net loss. So again, I guess maybe that's still something you have to look out for. But guidance was also pretty good here for MongoDB. Let's see how the stock has been performing lately. So now we're going to be up 17% over the past year with the pre-market action. Previously, we were still down 10%, and year to date, we're also going to be up 14.4% for MongoDB. Am I surprised? To be honest, I don't I know about the name, but I don't follow it that closely. Don't follow it that closely. One of the reasons I've been buying up SG. What's SG? Sweet greens. No, that's not something. It's not in my bucket of interests. Let's see. Serve Robotics. Yes, I guess I've seen Serve Robotics has had a small announcement. Did they report? They reported earlier in the month. I do think that, yeah, I mean, it's of course growing extremely quickly, but it's still very, very small. Very, very small. They're expanding, of course, rapidly. But this is it's a company worth $613 million, only generating $1.4 million in revenue, though. So you are, of course, paying a hefty premium here on the future prospects of this company. And it's the same with Octo. Oklo. Oklo is another one of those that also got a price target upgrade today, because apparently being worth $11 billion on $0 in revenue was not enough. Was not enough, apparently. You can be bullish on nuclear. I am bullish on nuclear, but I still don't understand why you would be paying $11 billion for a company that might have a commercially available product in 2028, 2029. Just a bit strange. So Wedbush starts Serve Robotics at outperform with $15 price target, approximately 46% upside from here. Calls out strength in its autonomous delivery platform tied to AI growth. Shares sold off after Nvidia trimmed its stake, but Uber still holds around 8% and remains a key partner. The thing with all of these smaller players, whether it's robotics one or AV players, myself and Jose as well, we do have Uber, so we get exposure to all of those things through Uber, and we're not that affected by the risk of these smaller companies maybe failing in the future.
Yeah, and here I think Nvidia selling off shares obviously was a bearish momentum for it, but I think Nvidia just didn't want to have ownership on robotics companies, right? I mean, because then this is such an emerging market, and if you own ownership of robotics companies, people are going to say, "Oh, look, you have some ownership here. Maybe you're going to be preferring them from us. So instead of going with you, I'd rather go to somebody else." Because there's other players, obviously, kind of designing robotics chips as well. So I think it was more of like a move from Nvidia to eliminate that concern from its potential customers. Serve, it's a pretty much a startup, so it comes with its own risk.
Hmm.
But I don't think Nvidia selling off was anything because of Surf itself. I think it was more just overall how people were viewing this ownership, and how potential customers were viewing it. Only were viewing this ownership from Nvidia.
And they did pretty well on their initial position. So same, I mean, the same way to a SoundHound, right? SoundHound as well. They had their position. They did pretty well. They're gone. But yeah, it's not Surf specific.
Yeah, and the reason I think they still like to own their Nebius and CoreWeave is kind of the complete opposite. The cloud space is already a very mature market with your big players like Amazon and Google and all that. And it's like, I feel like this is now like a warning to them. It's like, hey, if you guys decide to mess with me, I have other players that I can make sure screw with you. So, uh, I don't know if I'm playing 5D chess in my mind with how Jensen is thinking about stuff like this, or not necessarily Jensen himself, or maybe just like the CFO or something like that. But if it is, then that's wild.
Hmm. I mean, I think Jensen right now has a lot of thinking to do when it comes to the China business. Um, Lots of politics involved there. In the meantime, we do have some, again, mixed markets in Europe, mixed markets in Asia. Pre-market in the United States is basically flat at the moment. The 10-year sits at 4.28%. And euro dollar is down a little bit now at 1.15. I did see something.
Hey, I don't follow too much the software base right now. But I know MongoDB, right, had a great earnings. Did you talk about that one
Mhm.
already, Neil, while I was gone?
Yeah, I've touched on it a little bit.
Uh,
Had a very good earnings. Stock is up 30% pre-market.
mm,
Pretty good. I mean, it's good. It's not an apples to apples comparison, but it's probably a good sign already for the Snowflakes, the Databricks, the ClickHouse, which Nebius owns a stake in as well. Again, not apples to apples, but
mhm,
similar, a similar space. So yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I think we're going to see a lot of these types of reaction on forgotten names, or names where the market's just like, you know what, we're disregarding this name right now because we're not sure. We're not sure what the impact of AI will be with these types of names. I'm not saying you're going to see a 30% move on an Adobe or a Salesforce, but it will not surprise me if we see a positive reaction on an Adobe or a Salesforce when they report earnings. We do have Snowflake later today. We also have
Mm,
CrowdStrike later today
mhm,
as well. Both expensive names, but again, it's one of those expensive names that will always be expensive. I mean, CrowdStrike, even after that July outage, was still expensive. Um, but the fact that we did recover so quickly is because the business just continued to do extremely well. I mean, look at this. We
mhm.
were at 300, probably touch 400, but let's say 388 July 1st, 2024. Then the crash happened. So we're at closer to $200. Today we're at
Oh, wow.
421, and we're at $500 in July.
Oh,
Um, but yeah,
mm,
it's still an unprofitable business, by the way, like earnings wise.
uh,
Free cash flow, it's a free cash flow beast for now, but yeah, it's $104 billion in market cap. You're paying a hefty premium. But then again, I've said it last week, all cybersecurity names other than, I'd say, a Fortinet, you're going to pay a hefty premium to own them right now. Roberto did ask about,
Yeah,
about the Intel question. I mean, you know me, I still think Intel will turn around. I just don't think doubling down at the moment makes sense. Like you've
yeah,
had, same with like my options are still doing well, but there still needs, a lot of things need to happen for it to work out. 18A still needs to be successful for all of it to work out. Again, it's great that you get maybe some backing and some momentum, but it's a product-based business. If the product sucks, nothing will help it, right? If the product doesn't suck, then yes, the little push,
exactly.
the little pushing forward definitely will help. But that's something we will find out in the next 2 quarters.
Yeah, and I think now you have kind of like the Trump wild card, right? It's like anything he might mention could be seen as both bullish or bearish, which could create a lot of volatility, which could give a hey, I talked to him, even him just saying, look, I talked to Jensen about maybe working with Nvidia, with Intel, now that we have ownership. Like little things like that could create, even if they don't really go anywhere, but just kind of things like that could make um, Intel stock move in the short term. So I do believe right now you have that volatility card that's going to go pretty heavy here.
Yeah, plus SoftBank and ARM is
Mhm.
also a nice card, a nice card to play here. I actually, maybe last thing here is Snowflake for later today as
Yeah.
well. Is it still at 200? Yeah, well,
Mr.
203.
Pano, been buying Adobe in the past 3 weeks since it broke 340. What is Adobe at right now?
Probably also probably 340. No.
Oh, no, 355. He's
Oh,
actually
okay.
doing really good. Nice.
Um, yeah. So I mean, Snowflake also $64 billion company, revenue $3.8 billion, probably going to close the year out at just over four. It's again one of those fast-growing companies that also free cash flow wise doing okay. I mean, free cash flow margin is close to 20%, but if you look at net margin, operating margin, EBITDA margin is all still negative. But they do grow. They do grow fast, and I do think that this one as well, I think, could surprise people later in the day.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I feel like they always tend to do earnings really close to Nvidia, so it's very rare for me to
Mhm.
follow them. Um, but had a really nice turnaround, right? Just like you're looking here, about a year ago, they were sitting, not even, yeah, about a year ago. We're almost already in September. They've been at they were at 100, and they've
Yep.
nearly 100% since then.
Yeah, I mean, this is where there was a CEO change, so the whole thing crashed. Guidance was pulled down a little bit. New CEO
Mhm.
coming in, easier to beat. Stock went down. I think they were one of the first one where they said we're not going to aggressively expand on our GPU investment. We're just going to see what we have right now and see how things evolve. But yeah, the business just kept on doing quite well, and then yeah, we see that huge reversal right here from the bottom, almost a year ago.
Mansa here, Neil says, in the technology cycle, software tends to outperform hardware. I feel this cycle, maybe, I don't know, they didn't get the memo. But
Yeah.
this cycle, I mean, a lot of players, Adobe, I mean, Salesforce, a lot of software names um, you can look into. And I don't know if that's necessarily true this cycle. Um, like, what is, again, I'm not familiar with Mongo, but even with its price up,
Now it's up year to date and over the past 12 months. MongoDB.
yeah, but not by I mean,
Not
that's
by
just because
much.
it seemed like, yeah, August 27th was like a crash for them, but if we just jump into like August 30th, at August 30th, it was 290. Um, So at 290, it will still be pretty much down with the pre-market gains. So
Correct.
yeah, yeah, that's crazy to think. I mean, the player I own, GitLab, I know there's someone was talking about Elastic. I think is another. Um, Let me just see how that one.
Elastic, yeah. So the Dutch company.
Yeah, so it's I just don't. And the thing is, most hardware players are now integrating software solutions into their play. Obviously, different forms of software um, from a lot of these players, but this sector has been cycle has been different.
Yeah, I mean there is a lot of unknowns, and it seems like the market just does not want to take any bets at the moment other than the maybe the pretty easy ones, right? Because it's quite crazy when we talk about an Adobe and a Salesforce as if it's a dead business.
Mhm.
Um, it's not. It's just that momentum wise, for a stocks perspective, it's it's dead. But from a business, I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Tom Lee did say that finance sector will dominate the next 2 years. SoFi all the way. Yeah, but I do think that he talked a little bit more about like a Goldman as well. So Goldman, FICO, um, things like that. I don't know if he touched on SoFi specifically, but I do think that he said something yesterday about Goldman maybe having um, tech multiples, giving tech multiples from the market. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I do still think that SoFi is my way to go. Um, Someone's asking us to look at Neo real quick. Uh, Josh here actually. They seem to be doing very well. I mean, they seem to be doing very well for a long period of time, and yet the stock does not reflect that, right? I think this is a
Mhm.
company that has an issue internally about trying to do so many things at once. Um, and when you try to do so many things at once, trying to catch up to the likes of a BYD or a Tesla, you're bound to probably not be successful. It's still burning a ton of money. Um, and again, I don't see the long term play here for a Nebus for a Neo for Nebus for a Neo.
Yeah. I mean, the automotive market, no matter where it is, even how bullish I might be in things like EVs and stuff like that, I'm just not a fan of. And like you mentioned, Neo has maybe other avenues that I'm not too familiar with that I personally would stay away, so can't really share much there. The market's open?
The market is open, yes, sir. Um, we'll give it a
You
couple of
gotta add
seconds.
CoreWeave to this list now so we can keep
True,
an eye on it.
correct, correct. Voila, CoreWeave is there, and CoreWeave is up 3%. Thank you very much.
Woo!
We are exit liquidity here. um, there was one comment popped up here. What did he say? Waldo Tomley also said he thinks Nvidia stock goes up significantly after earnings. I mean, I would be surprised if Tomley is not bullish on anything, right? He's the forever bull. Um, I do still have a big question on the whole BMNR thing. Jose, you probably seen the ticker,
Yeah,
right? The
we get
bit
questions
mine.
on it a lot here. Only
It's
reason I know about it.
I mean, the only reason I know about it is because it's up 10x since June.
Oh
Um,
wow.
but
Oh,
honestly,
ding, 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 ding. My bad, Dominic.
yeah, Jose here is just, uh, um, yeah. Quickly touching on the Bitmine thing,
Mhm.
I I'll show the charts real quick. It's I people think I mean people see it as just a micro strategy of Ethereum, so basically a treasury type of play. This is basically the chart. So back in June we're at $4. Then in a matter of 2-3 days or so, it was at $160. Imagine retiring in a week with with this, and now we're we're back under 50. But I just don't see. It's just a leveraged play to get exposure to Ethereum. Like other than that, I don't see anything here, right? You can buy Ethereum, and if Ethereum price goes up, you'll make money. You can buy BMNR, Ethereum goes up, you'll probably make a little bit more money because again, it's a bit more volatile, and it's like it's a leverage play. It's a treasury. Yeah, it's the treasury hype in this cycle right now. Could they be making money in the future from various things here? Maybe, but for now, it's all about buying as much Ethereum as possible, diluting shareholders, buy more Ethereum. Same like MicroStrategy, right? The first, let's say, layer of shareholders owned, let's say, 50% of the Bitcoin that MicroStrategy held. The second layer will own less. The first layer suddenly owns less as well because you're diluting every single layer. They're a bit like a pyramid scheme. Um, but yeah, if you want to get exposure to Ethereum, just buy Ethereum. That's the thing. I just don't see a investment thesis here. There's a lot of ifs as well. Like if in the future the whole financial institution and everything runs on Ethereum, then this and that might happen. Okay, but if that doesn't happen, then no, then it doesn't happen. Can Ethereum go up to 10,000, 16,000? It can happen. It can happen. Again, if you own BMNR, you're probably going to make more money than if you own Ethereum straight out. But yeah, that's not an investment thesis, I guess. Going back to real companies here, we have.
I feel like you feel some type of way about that one, Neil.
No, I just don't understand. Like everybody's hyping it up as if it's the next Nvidia or whatnot. But the more I look into it, the more I understand that the only thing that it has for it is the momentum, the hype, and maybe some technical charts that people are drawing each and every day. Because there is nothing behind it other than being a treasury. That's it. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
Let's see here.
CoreWeave up 2%.
People mentioned a lot of people. It seems like the market's pulling back a little bit back. It was a little bit green there. Now the market's like, you know what? Let's just wait for Nvidia earnings. We're getting too excited right now. But it does seem like some software plays are getting kind of the excitement from Mongo. I saw my GitLab was up about 2% today. And I think we're seeing other players up a nice amount, like Elastic was up about 6% as well. So it seems like maybe the software space isn't dead just yet.
Yeah, Zeta is up. Wait. So CoreWeave up 2.7, 2.8, Zeta up 2%, Oscar 1.7.
And that's where we end the stream.
And that's where we end the stream. No, actually, no. Where is Google? Flat.
Where's Google? Okay, pretty much flat. Oh yeah,
pretty much flat. Yeah, not much movement actually. Most of the names are like, if it's green or red, it's barely a percent here. Intel is red. I'm red, 0.3%. IREN is down 1.4. SoFi pulling back a tiny bit, but that's about it.
I would say with Google, Neil, one thing that before we close out, I've also noticed that back then I used to see Oracle being in a lot of the Nvidia keynote press releases when they release something new. I'm not seeing Oracle as much anymore. I'm actually seeing Google a lot more than one of the, out of all the major cloud service providers, Google has been the one that I'm seeing almost consistently in every press release. So move out of Oracle to Google. That was definitely seems to be the way.
I mean, I'm definitely seeing a lot more Google popping up, especially for a Google Cloud and Google and AI, right? With the new image thing that they released yesterday, the cost of generating it is so much lower than anyone else. But yeah, we still have the DOJ decision. I mean, the decision on what the DOJ might want to do. That should it said end of August, so we are end of August right now, so it should happen any day now. It should happen any day now. I still think they'll just pay a fine and maybe they cannot deal anymore with an Apple and a Samsung to pay those huge amounts of money. There were also rumors last week that Apple might be using Gemini for Siri. So how's that going to work? But okay, we'll see what happens. Roberto is really
Roberto, that's
doing.
one you won't get me into. It
Roberto,
might
here's
be the
fine.
worst play of my life, but it's not one I will. Not right now. Maybe Roberto, and another time.
No, there is time. Like now we had
Yeah.
that initial pump, and now it's just a waiting game until there is some real business movement. Like we've had the Amazon move with Intel, right? The Xeon one. We've had Nvidia also uses some Nvidia products. Nvidia uses some Intel products. Sorry. Now we'll see, because I
Yeah.
think the next big move will be foundry related. What that will be remains to be seen. Lip Bhutan probably knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
But
I definitely think he
plays
knows what he just needed
chess.
to lose aggro from the boss right now. He lost aggro, so that's good. He just needed to reduce his aggro. Now that that's over, he can go back to doing what he needs to do.
Yeah, he went from being a so-called spy to being an impressive, very good, very good CEO that has a very successful career. And now we have Roberto, me, pumping up,
And Donnie.
and Donnie Trump pumping up Intel, and actually Massa. So
Oh
Southland
yeah,
helping
yes. You also
helping
have
us here
Masa.
a
You have
little
a
bit.
good team there, Roberto. All right.
Yeah. This is the Avengers, the Blue Avengers, the Blue Avengers. All right. With that, we shall be back later today in some form or capacity.
In some form or capacity,
We
yes.
still don't know how, but we will be back later today for Nvidia's earnings coverage.
Yeah.
He's charging his spirit bomb. Hopefully, it won't take like 50 episodes or something. um, with